heroin trafficking in America or forfeiting money in America and all of those things about drug dealings and all that, yeah? They believe that they are just lies from his enemies. They are not making people see any illegality here at all. Like what we're waiting now, shake out, don't talk, saying don't forge. They are telling people that they should wait for the court to say he forged or he didn't. Remember the tribunal, when all of the evidence were everywhere, these same supposed respected old men and women, they were grabbing a microphone and camera everywhere, telling the people to not mind all those things. They are just nonsense. At first, they said it was 10 years ago. It's over 10 years. This was like over 30 years ago. That's nonsense. Old case. So morality is no longer anything. But ladies and gentlemen, it did not start today. Okay? I need to take you back, history line a bit. I'm going to give you some, media cutout from the time Tinubu was first caught to have forged his certificate. It's not that people didn't fight, okay? But do you know that our own respected senior advocate of, nonsense or nuisance, Sir Femi Falana, was actually Tinubu's lawyer? Some of the talking points you are hearing today, there are so many people are using again today. They are not different from the talking points of 24 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. It is like a script. And I just kind of believe that you should all go, I've told you this before, you should all go get ready to live with Kolu and his criminals for 8 years. Now, if that gets you kind of angry, then you know what to do. If you don't want to live under Kolu for 8 years, apart from that, there is no help coming from anywhere. They will unleash these people. So I was reading a few times, a few places where people say, where is Mr. Femi Falana? Where is Femi Falana? This fella said, well, what would you want him to say? Do you know his defense in 1999? In September 1999, when Tinubu was being dragged on the fact that he forged his certificate, you know what happened then? Tinubu presented a certificate to INEC. And in that certificate, he said he went to government college, Ibadan. So that came out as a lie. But he presented a fake certificate. Mind you, he was already elected. He was already sworn in. Okay? So he presented fake certificate then. He didn't go to any school called Government College, Ibadan. Okay? Then he presented a certificate that he went to University of Chicago. Not Chicago State University. University of Chicago. That was a lie. That was when he got caught. Do you know the person who advised Tinubu of what to do? Femi Falana. And what did he tell him to do? Number one, he told him, nobody can sue him and he cannot sue anybody. They were quoting the part of immunity in the Constitution. And he said, the only people that can really probe Tinubu of his certificate is going to be the State House of Assembly, the Lagos State people. Okay? So because of this, they now prompted the Lagos State House of Assembly to set up an investigation committee to investigate the allegation of certificate forgery against Tinubu. So when they set that up, Tinubu now went and attended that committee's hearing when they invited him. And there he told them he lost all of his certificates when Abacha bombed his house when he was in exile, fighting for democracy. Okay? So he couldn't locate all of them. That's why he had to use an affidavit and all of that. So they took his own statement, which means Tinubu confirmed that the document he presented is not fake. The reason why he couldn't produce the original was because the original were burnt. And the affidavit he presented is to prove what was in the original. And they now said, anybody that has the evidence that Tinubu did not, so you have to come and prove it, that Tinubu did not graduate from the University of Chicago. You have to come and prove it, bring evidence. And in their own ruling, they said, you have to bring the original certificate. Tinubu no get them. And if you say the certificate Tinubu presented is fake, you must present the original. So they asked the petitioner, Chief Gani Fawemi, to go and look for the original certificate in order to prove that the affidavit that Tinubu presented is fake. So they now waited for 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, they now came back and they ruled that Tinubu is discharged and acquitted. Do you get that? And what they said was that we did not plan to impeach Tinubu. We plan to investigate the allegation of forgery. And we found out that for 2 weeks, no single petition against Tinubu was submitted to them. Since they didn't receive any petition or against Tinubu, and Tinubu has already attended the panel and gave evidence, their final ruling is that there is no forgery allegation against Tinubu. Anybody who has any allegation against him can then go to court. So on that ruling of the, on that ruling of the State House of Assembly, that emboldened Tinubu, and they started seeing Gani Fawemi as a real enemy. The real campaign, media campaign, and all of that against Gani Fawemi just started after that. So Gani Fawemi was now seen as a problem. The House of Assembly already said it's already okay. They've cleared him. What is wrong with this man? So they started writing and writing. But there is one thing there. Chief Gani Fawemi didn't stop. He now sued. No, hang on. It was before then. Festus Keyamo, who was working in the chambers of Chief Gani Fawemi, now sued the State House of Assembly for the kangaroo trap they set in order to free Tinubu. He now sued them. And at the end of the day, the Supreme Court of Nigeria ruled that Tinubu cannot be sued. It cannot be taken to court. The only time for anybody to sue Tinubu is going to be in 2003, which means if he loses the election in 2003, he is now free. You can then sue him for that crime. You know that Supreme Court ruling? That Supreme Court ruling, they are keeping it for Atiku. They are also keeping it for Obi. Obedient. I have told you this before. And I kind of know that a lot of you have learned how to manage your expectation, which is fine. A lot of you didn't know. Maybe you did know that on this issue of forgery, there is already a Supreme Court ruling that said Tinubu cannot be sued. So that is why in 2013, 2014, Jonathan's government decided to bring the case up again by charging Tinubu for perjury and forgery, that he submitted a fake document to INEC in 1999. When Jonathan's people told him that the thing with Tinubu and this CPC would do you, it will do you like Fimo. If you don't quickly cut the head of the snake, Tinubu, you are going to lose in 2015 with what these guys are planning. So Jonathan was advised to use that forgery of 1999 against Tinubu, so that they can use that to checkmate him as a compromise. Okay? Now he has no immunity. At least the Supreme Court said he had immunity. You cannot try him. You see, from the State House of Assembly to the court, to Supreme Court, Femi Falana was the King Kong behind Kolu at the time. He was his lawyer. I mean, he was just doing his job, Abi. He was doing his job. Even though, he was also very vocal fighting the federal government, like in all of that. He was very prominent at the Oputa panel too. Barrister Femi Falana. And what he kept telling the court everywhere he went was that Tinubu get immunity. You cannot touch him. So, apart from that, within the League of Lawyers, as in all of the lawyers themselves, they started turning Chief Gani Fawehinmi to a pariah. While the young Femi Falana, a promising bright lawyer around that time, was telling people, listen, this is not a case of morality. Okay? At least, there were so many of us who said people should not vote because we knew that all of these things were scripted in 1999. But people voted anyway. So which means the immoral system has been put in place. So everything we do inside this system is based on the system we put in place. So nobody should come and start talking about morality. Okay? Why are you doing that? You are defending forgery. You are defending this and that. Yes, I am defending it because the system allows us to elect criminals. So since the criminals are elected, I'm going to do my job. That was his excuse. So 24 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, I'll show you some. You know, it was at the early stage. I go to read some, you know, it's like a newspaper article. Olisa AGBAKOBA. When the wahala of Tinubu's forgery started. Here is a newspaper article from Monday, September 20, 1999. Human rights activists in the country may be heading for a historic clash as Messiahs Olisa AGBAKOBA and Femi Falana may take up the defense of Lagos State Governor Bola Tinubu if their colleague Chief Gani Fawehinmi makes good his threat to sue the governor over perjury. Already, another comrade in arms, Dr. Bekora Samkuti, has been pitted against Fawehinmi, whose 7-day ultimatum on Tinubu to defend himself of the charges lapses today. There are, however, indications that Lagos State House of Assembly may today constitute a panel to investigate the allegations. Fawehinmi had given the ultimatum last Monday in response to what he termed controversy surrounding Tinubu's eligibility as the governor of the state and threatened to proceed on the second phase of his crusade if he did not receive any reply in 7 days. His threat was equal to allegations of forgery of certificates first raised by an Abuja newspaper today in a recent edition where it alleged that Tinubu did not attend University of Chicago and Government College Ibadan as he, Tinubu, claimed in his INEC form. The newspaper also alleged that Tinubu was born in 1952 instead of the 1954 which he filed in his form. Do you see that the scenario of 1999 is playing out again? So Tinubu ended up spending 8 years as governor, installed his successor, and then own half of the state's resources for life. So do you see the replay of that playing out now? Where supposed human rights activists or supposed people who knows the right from wrong were already fighting somebody they felt like, what is your problem? Gone. Leave him alone. So here is that shot. Then if you go on again, there's a Vanguard of that same September. Okay, it said, Lagos lawyer, Mr. Festus Keyamo, yesterday filed an action. In fact, there is actually one. Let me see, where is that one? Falana says, this is where Falana sort of spoke about people talking about, you know, morality and the rest, yeah? I'm coming on. Yeah. So here, let's go to this one, where Falana says, case closed, Fawehinmi demands trial. Okay? Now, some war of words raged yesterday on the Lagos State House of Assembly's acquitter of Governor Bola Tinubu from charges of impropriety. Lawyer to the governor, Mr. Femi Falana, said the matter was effectively closed for the duration of his client's tenure. But fiery critic Chief Gani Fawayimi insisted there was a case to answer and that the alleged offenses were impeachable. Falana could not see how he would meet Fawayimi, hitherto a long-time ally, in court over the matter since no one could legally sue the governor in private capacity. Even then, he said, persons who claim to have evidence against Tinubu will have to wait till 2003 to be able to sue him. Fielding questions from reporters, Falana touched on criticism of the House of Assembly for investigating the matter, as well as the contention of some lawyers that the matter should be investigated beyond the confine of the House. According to him, besides Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution, which gives the governor complete immunity from prosecution, the only person or group of persons that can sue him are those who contested the election with him. This was Falana. And there is a time limit for challenging the results of an election, as spelled out in the state government basic constitution and transition decree 39 of 1999. The decree, Falana said, stated that election petitions filed before the election tribunal must be determined within 30 days from the date it was filed, and that only a person who contested the election can file such a petition. With 4 months into the democratic dispensation and almost 9 months after the last elections were held, Falana said that, in quote, it is not possible in Nigeria today to declare the election of any governor or president null and void, adding that not even a card-carrying member of a party or an electorate has the right to institute legal proceedings in court against the governor, his deputy, the vice president, and the president, not to talk of somebody who did not believe in the transition program. He was referring to Gani Fawayimi. Falana said, perjury and forgery did not come up at all, since perjury meant a false testimony given in the course of judicial proceedings or in anticipation of judicial proceedings, adding that in the case of President Bill Clinton of the United States, he appeared before a grand jury and repeatedly lied on oath. That's Falana. Picking holes in the argument of forgery, Falana, relying on Section 35 of the Constitution, said that before one can claim forgery, he must produce the certificate allegedly to have been forged. He challenged those claiming to have evidence against the governor on forged certificate to produce such, adding that the onus was on them to prove the allegation and not the other way around. The lawyer said that although the governor's opponents were dropping the perjury and forgery allegations and pursuing the false declaration of on oath, the onus was still on them to prove the case. He said, what we are now made to understand is that the only one that still has to be taken up by the Inspector General of Police is the allegation that the governor made false declaration, which is taken care of by Section 191 of the Criminal Code. Under our law, as the law stands, and there are so many decisions on this point, including the case between Garuba and the University of Maiduguri, which was handled by Chief Gani Fawayimi, up to the Supreme Court. The procedure of the law is that only a court of law can pronounce guilt on any citizen. It is so elementary. Only a properly constituted court of law can pronounce guilt on any citizen. No television house, no radio station, no newspaper can accuse a citizen of a criminal offense in Nigeria, try him, and condemn him. You must drag him to a court of law. That is the provision of Section 36(1) of the 1999 Constitution. You cannot sit in your house and call somebody a crook or a criminal. He has to be tried and adjudged guilty by an independent body. What we have said in the case of Tinubu, if you are so sure that you have this avalanche of evidence against him, you may have to wait till the year 2003. That is what the law is saying. Section 308, no amount of blackmail will take the place of law. So Falana said that this was 24 years ago, not today. So for those who are listening to me, this is not today. This was Falana defending Tinubu 24 years ago. Okay? So Falana said that the IG could not investigate the case because even if investigations were carried out, Tinubu cannot be arrested. Asking, what is the purpose of the investigation? He spoke on the intervention of the House of Assembly, which investigated the allegation according to him. The chief judge of a state can only set up a 7-man panel of inquiry in the case of an impeachment proceeding against the governor. So according to him, the misconduct was found against the governor. And all the blah, 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 the blah, the blah, the blah, the blah. So this was 24 years ago when Tinubu was governor. So you have it on black and white right now. So whatever you are kind of thinking, what is different today is this. Okay? The difference today is that we have social media and we all have all this evidence. Okay? But what they are telling all of you now is that we can all sit down in our houses. We can all have all these evidences. But according to Nigerian law, except a court says those evidence were evidence and rule on them, we are all just talking nonsense and just shouting. It won't change anything. And I bet it, ladies and gentlemen, if you invite Falana to any media house today, it will repeat exactly the same thing. And it will tell you, it's not him, it is the law. Sure, you know. That is when he was asked about morality. Let me go check that part. There's a part where he was asked about being moral. And he said, this is not a case of morality. Okay? So, what happened is that, the law is the law. So anyone who feels like, you know what I mean, it's not right, they should fix it. But it was already wrong from the onset. This was like a military decree, you know. So I won't go look for that part too. When I see I go show you. Anyway, let me move on a bit so that I don't drag that on for too long, okay? So this is where AGBAKOBA comes in. And around that time, something happened. AGBAKOBA and the rest just felt like, it is true. Hey, the status of assembly, what they did was wrong. How could they just let him, impeachment is the only option if Mr. Olisa AGBAKOBA, this was 24 years ago, Mr. Olisa AGBAKOBA, a senior advocate of Nigeria and a pro-democracy activist, was one of those who testified before the Lagos State House of Assembly allegation made against governor. So below is the memo he presented. So this is a lawyer who went there 24 years ago, and he presented that Tinubu must be impeached if the House of Assembly find him guilty. Right? But somehow, the State House of Assembly said he didn't receive any petition or anything. But he said he presented a memo, not petition. Right? So this was also him. You know? Yeah, all of that. This was 24 years ago. He slammed the press, like the press is not being, they need to let people, blah, blah, blah. And then fast forward to 24 years after that, the same AGBAKOBA was asked about the state of things, INEC, judiciary, 6 months ago.
What the courts have been doing lately. I mean, there was a time you could say, on the facts and the law, this is the likely outcome. Today you cannot, because there have been all kinds of silly decisions. The most silly was that concerning the President of the Senate, who, in order to become Nigerian president, rushed off to buy a ticket to be a presidential candidate of the APC. And that meant he did not take part in the senatorials. Lo and behold, he lost. He now ran back after the horse had bolted, clearly to anybody who has any brain, including the justice of the Supreme Court I might add. And he said no, that the man actually should be the senatorial candidate. That is the most ridiculous decision I've ever heard that the Supreme Court had delivered. So that's why it's difficult. Of course, I don't want to talk about the case of Imo State where everything was turned upside down. So I don't have the sort of confidence that I used to have in the judiciary. And I've not been surprised if this thing goes one way or the other. I cannot forecast the outcome. I have the legal tools and the factual issues. So if I put it into my computer, I know what answer it will give me. But I'm not part of the panel. So I don't know whether the justices will see it the way I'm seeing it. But I can tell you, from my own perspective as a lawyer of 45 years at the bar, that the answers are glaringly obvious. But as Oliver Wendell Holmes said in the Raleigh School of Jurisprudence, it is the prophecy of what the court does in fact, and nothing more pretentious, that is the law. So if you ask me what will be the outcome of the petition, first of all, I cannot say because it's sub judice. But second of all, I cannot even say because the Supreme Court itself is unpredictable. It ought to be predictable, which is why people are now beginning to question. There's a new school of thinking coming up to say, should the Supreme Court really be final? See what they're causing now? Should they be final, or should their decisions now be subject to parliamentary review?
This was 6 months ago when Sir Olisa AGBAKOBA decided to be honest for the last time. So the Supreme Court is currently being expected to take in all of this evidence, right? And disqualify Tinubu. And immediately after that, order for his arrest, his trial, and his final, conviction for all of his crimes. With the evidence that are available now, which the tribunal failed to look into. Now that the Supreme Court is being told of this latest evidential discovery, Sir AGBAKOBA is no longer comfortable with it. But just before today, here is Sir AGBAKOBA again.
What would you guys say to those who are of the opinion that both the bar and the bench are not doing enough to stamp out corruption in the judiciary?
I accept that. That is absolutely correct. We have complete legal and judicial failure. And I just hope that this is a wake-up call for all of us. Again, I go back to when I was NBA president. We have been shouting, speed of justice, speed of justice. Well, I had a project called the Speed of Justice. You can't go to court, lawyers block cases, judges are helpless. Using the old Judicature Act of 1873 in the UK, they say that the judges do not descend. That has been thrown away. Judges descend to the arena. A judge will shut a counsel up if he's wasting his time. So, my take home from this is the public has lost confidence in us, and it's a big shame. They've lost confidence in the judiciary and in lawyers, and that's why the opinion is so divided. And I think we in the bar and the judges must wake up and regain the confidence of people. Because if there was confidence, even this would not happen. They'll say, oh, NJC can sort it out. But if the NJC itself takes forever, as Mountway was implying, then people will say, well, look, you know what? I tell you this. A typical Nigerian. You remember the tire, burning tire thing in South Africa? What are you talking about? This man has stolen our money. He want to take him to which court? But in those days when I used to do a lot of criminal cases, somebody who became IG told me, well, still a time up. So I know that this guy has killed my boys. So I'll shoot him dead. I had an application before the late Justice Kensington to exhume a dead body to prove that police people shot him. And that's when the CLO, when I was president, wrote the book Executive Lawlessness and the Police Rascality. So it's all been there. And that was what led to the new Administrative Justice Act. So we, as lawyers, we must up our game. We must give confidence to the public that we don't just go to court, take money from clients, tie up the cases in court, and nothing happens. Because if you look at the load of cases in court, the truth is that the results have been very poor. I must concede that issue that we need to up our game.
So some said it's AGBAKOBA. So, but I kind of feel like it's AGBAKOBA. Or it can be AGBAKOBA. Whatever goes well for you. You know? So, that was AGBAKOBA talking about people, the public losing interest based on mostly the recent pronouncement by the Supreme Court of Nigeria, which has put to question their credibility too. So what changed? Now that there are more evidence, Nigerians are being embarrassed all over the world. They are being called out here and there. Is it true that your president was a drug dealer? Is it true that a former drug dealer is now your president? Is it true that your president is a certificate forger, Agba forger, and the rest of that? So AGBAKOBA now went on his Twitter. I think it was yesterday. Back on the rant, I said, what's happened to this old man? He said, this madness of Chicago State University must stop now. The cacophony of discordant voices on Tinubu article over the certificate matter is completely out of hand. This utter nonsense from armchair lawyers is eating up Nigeria dangerously. Please, can we keep our opinions and views to ourselves, awaiting a decision of the Supreme Court? I am so ashamed to see lawyers on television arguing, one way or the other, on the merit of Chicago State University matter. This is most unhelpful. I call out all media that tolerate this nonsense of educating the Chicago State University matter on TV and newspaper. I urge the president of the Nigerian Bar Association to call out lawyers that breach rules of ethics by turning the media into a court of law. Can we please stop eating up our country? Let us allow the Supreme Court of Nigeria to make a judicial pronouncement which is binding on us all. This public nonsense must stop. AGBAKOBA, Abi AGBAKOBA. Did you see that? Why are you all talking about his certificate? Let us wait for the Supreme Court to tell us if it is fake or original. Let us wait for the court to tell us if it's original. Chicago State University cannot tell us how Tinubu got their certificate. They may not even know how he got their certificate. Why not just let us wait for Supreme Court? Now the Supreme Court justices go come look and say, okay. Chicago State University, they didn't produce this certificate. Yes, my lord. This is the position that we brought from American courts. It's the position. Say Chicago State University said they didn't do this certificate. They say, how come you didn't bring the man who said that here? Say, but my lord, the position and evidence, no, that's technicality. Next time, you have to bring that Caleb Westbag. You have to bring him to Nigeria. And he has to come with original certificates so that we can now compare the two. Which one is original, which one is fake. If you like, go and bring the president of Chicago State University article. Carry Caleb Westbag. May you come carry the printing machine. They print the certificate in 1979. Come pack evidence of 1979 certificate. Go that court. Because they are the ones who can tell us which. So if the Supreme Court will just be like, this look like, they hold the fake one, the one submitted to INEC, Abi. The one that pointed out Tinubu lied and he faked the certificate, Abi. Chicago State University didn't give him the certificate, right? The judge will hold it like this and say, is he my eyes? My lord. You will face another judge, another justice of Supreme Court. My lord, is he my eyes? This one look original to me, okay? That would be Iweala, Chief Justice of Nigeria. That would be like, I said, no, my lord, that one is the fake. Caleb Westbag will be like, Sorry, my lord. He said, no, don't teach me. Don't teach us our job. You have spoken. We have heard you. Say, my lord, that's the fake one, sir. I wanted to tell you that that's the fake one you are holding. We did not issue that one. That's not us. But is this one that is submitted to INEC? Yes, that's the one is submitted. That's the fake one. It's submitted to INEC, my lord. Who are you again? I am the registrar for Chicago State University, Caleb Westberg. Oh, okay. You are the one. Right. So this is the fake one, Abi. How do you know this is fake? Because this is the original one that we normally print in 1979, my lord. That is why we know that. And we did not, Tinubu did not come and collect any certificate from us. Okay. But this one look like original to me, okay? I said, no, it's fake, sir. It's so fake. Check the original and check it. Take a look at the two. Say, my friend, shut up. My lord, please take a look for me now. Check. This one look like a fake. That one will take it and say, no, there's no, because there's no fake here, my lord. So give it to the other justice there. Give it to him. Now there, Westberg go sit down. Atif could go sit down. The rest of you go sit down. You go to watch the drama. When they come back, they will say, well, we have discovered that it is original. We can see the name of the university. We can see the motto of the university. We can see the signature there. And the logo is original. My lord, objection overruled. So, have you watched Yoruba movies before? When they will just capture somebody, they will say, okay, police capture big person, big thief. And they will now say, my lord, you see this person is the most dangerous person, my lord. We must make sure that he's punished. My lord, this person has killed hundreds of people, my lord. And now, we are brought him before you to sentence him to death, my lord. And then my lord will just be like, this is my judgment. And the whole court will just do, they will come tell you, say, una no get evidence. All of these things that all of you are shouting about and all of that, you cannot teach us our job. Tinubu submitted original certificate. If you don't believe me, go and read the tribunal judgment of Peter Umba versus Aduaga or so. Labour Party versus PDP in Enugu. That one is not foul. It just happened just last month, Last month, it's gonna be this month. Last month. NYSC, National Youth Service Corps, they brought their own Director General, the person in charge of NYSC, Director General. They took him to the judges in court that the governor, the PDP governor there, forged his certificate, the passing out NYSC certificate. NYSC went there, they said, we did not give him this, we don't get any record of him. He not go anywhere. We didn't know, we don't know him. You know what the tribunal said? Since he has already submitted it to INEC, and INEC did not say it's fake, they, tribunal, they cannot come and rule and say it's fake. NYSC said they didn't give him certificates, sir. Sir, my lord, shut up your mouth. Don't teach us our job. You cannot expect us to discover fake documents here. It is the job of INEC to discover fake documents. So if they didn't do it, it's not our own to now help you discover it. No, you didn't help us discover it. Oh. We discovered it. We are just telling you that he did that. He already did it, my lord. This is the evidence. He did it. No. You are asking us to help you use evidence to cancel his election because he forged certificate. Abi? Yes, my lord. He forged it. Evidence. He forged it. But INEC said the certificate was okay. So would you want us to now say INEC is wrong? That is not okay. But they are wrong, my lord. No, you are wrong. For expecting us to be the one to help you do something that should have been done. I'm giving you the interpretation of their courts. Don't let it sound somehow to you. Because right now, you see that Olisa AGBAKOBA. I have told you this many times that they are going to release, they're going to activate people like that. Older people. You know, people that you are going to hear them say something and you're going to be like, what the hell? You'll be so shocked and surprised that you are like, how could that be no more? Maloma was surprised, did you? You just need to make sure you read your history very well. Majority of those parading themselves as a mouthpiece for you in Nigeria, they are positioning themselves for their own turn in that same establishment. You remember this, our brother? Aspire to perspire, maguire to acquire, require to ostire being gone. So that you can then become, they say fake it until you make it. Mr. Fela Durotoye, the former presidential candidate. You see that one in the middle? That also used to be one of the Ogbonge critique of APC. Now, you see this segment, I just want to sympathize with a lot of you. Lagos Abobakus. Uncle Izio. Majority of you will say, I won't die on social media. It can't be like, say, your destiny, your life. You did so many dirty things. But when it came to the time for you to probably be given a recognition to show that all of the things that you are fighting for on social media, go and do them. You are not useful to them. No vex, and if you want vex, make you vex. No be today. You understand? All of you now, we be Lagos Abobakus. I'm talking about some of you, they have turned to Alimajiri, the social media Alimajiri, the Bambiala squad. Okay? That Nigeria has really happened to you. A lot of you, you are struggling. Even those of you who pretend to like have jobs, all of them, they go through hell as we speak. So how do you feel when it was time to give good money to vuvuzelas? They usually just ignore. Majority of you have turned to influencers on social media. Even the leader of the Ronukus, the Lagos Abobakus. You remember that guy that was Dayo Israel? Pastor Dayo Israel. The leader of the Jagavan army. You can also call him the leader of the Yoruba Ronukus of APC. And this is also kind of a good one for so many of you that are so comfortable in using one brush to paint the Yorubas because of all these Ronukus. We know those who were shouting, Yoruba Ronu, Yoruba Ronu, Yoruba Ronu, all because they believe that everyone from the eastern part of Nigeria, from the old eastern region, from the other regions created after that, to this Yoruba Ronukus, every one of them is Igbo. If you come from anywhere after Ore, in Ondo, the Yoruba Ronukus, they consider you as Igbo. I say, but I'm not Igbo, I'm from Edo. Maybe they talk say, what do you call it? Biafra. You say, you're not part of Biafra. But you see, these Ronukus, these ethnic tribal jingoists from Yoruba land, we call them the Ronukus. Okay, because I'm a Ronukulas. But in the other word, they will say, Ironu Tinubu go kill you. Ironu Tinubu no fit kill me. You know that too. Now, Tinubu's policy, now in they take life out of you small. Some of you don't use mouth to breathe now. Say, Baba, they use your nose against that. It's not enough. It's not enough anymore. To survive in Nigeria now, you have to breathe with your mouth. Like, I said, but they run. I said, I know they run, but I have to breathe. Because every hair you can get right now, take on. Before Tinubu would start charging you for, say, you won't breathe. Say, I can't breathe. Say, Tinubu, they charge everybody for breathing. And all of that. So, to the Yoruba Ronukus, anybody we know sound like unboot slaves or ass licker or a crumb eater shouting Yoruba Ronu like them when they were more or less like being forced into the worst of the worst sort of human treatment, unfortunately. Right? They have name for us too. They call us a bastard. People with the support person, we don't know him mama, we don't know him papa. Or person we deny him mama, deny him papa. On the battle, date of birth, the childhood history, everything that everybody, every one of us probably has. People with the support person, we don't get papa. Shameless enough that he can't use his own father's name. And all of that. People with the support that one, they call all of us. We know our papa, know our mama, know where we come from. We know our own childhood, childhood friends, those we went to school with, and all of those of us we get history. The Ronukus, that they call us Somali. But to those of you who are easily so carried away, all these Igbo people, that is why nobody want to stay with them. These Igbo people, they like to dominate. When did they talk? You said they talk. You come from Edo. You come from Delta. You are there from the hinterland of old Biafra. Eastern region. You don't know, say, the Ronukus were trained to believe that all of Nana Igbo, all of you be Igbo. You don't know. The Ronukus that believe that any clean-looking Yoruba is not Yoruba. Is that not even a shame? All of that happened before our very eyes. So now the leader of the Ronukus, who put up different schemes. Daddy does not sleep until 4 a.m. I don't know the sleep, but no they sleep for until 1 a.m. The Ronuku leader, Dayo Israel, did everything and he led some other charlatans to go and see Tifnumbu. At a point, I think they were shouting, Corona to his enemy. Say, what do you call it? It's this part. Something like, yeah, for his enemy because of which they won't give them all. Last, they no give him job. Now, one lady, the Tifnumbu appointed as a minister of youth. Majority of these Ronukus from north, from the south, from everywhere. At a point, Dayo Israel wrote, you can't believe this, Dayo Israel put a team together called Jagaban Army. In that Jagaban Army, 36 states of Nigeria, the lie he told to all of these humbled beggars on social media, all these Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris, majority of them, their names are part of the names that Israel was parading as Jagaban Army. Because they told them, once Jagabandits become president, they will begin to give all of them jobs. They were monkeying about, fooling about at the time. And I'm not making this up, but they had over 20,000 youths. And they called them Jagaban Army all over Nigeria. They now give them positions. They were even fighting for relevance at a point. They can't leave Jagaban Army, can't go bring aspire to Maguire, acquire to require, Feladuro Toye, motivational speaker, former presidential candidate. The people where, I remember that Showore. You remember when Showore said, I know they join these people, they get agenda. Tokwe Fashua, Feladuro Toye. Do you know how many of you young people in 2018, 2019? During that time, that felt like it's the time for the youth. We need to take a... Well, Mr. fall for Ramsha anyway. All of us fall for Ram. Because me, I was just interested in any young people that is ready to take up on the establishment. You are my friend. As long as you are not defending or promoting the establishment itself. But we're all food. Fella, if you are watching my broadcast right now, Emma Krombuni, wherever you are, okay? Oma Krombuni, alaye? Because I use this my platform to also promote that fraud. About everybody, they look for their own meal ticket. You remember when I told you something about that? As long as this forgery is concerned, if you see anybody, including me, Mayegun, and you know this is Mayegun's diary, okay? Hold me to it. If you see anybody that is doing so well in his life, and suddenly started telling you that he wants to come and fight for his people. That is why he wants to be a governor. He wants to be a senator or rep. Agaga, especially those that will come back from abroad. You know, it's a sobo that is easily sold in Nigeria. Okay? If you give the money to the right people, all right? You can get what you want.
Thank you for watching. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing so you won't miss out any of our latest video.